In addition to matter and energy, there is another important concept: information. Life itself is basically a kind of information, and is the only physical system that actively uses information. Bees can build hives, ants can build nests, birds can migrate, salmon can swim upstream. Those are all innate abilities that exist when they are born. What is life? Life is defined as any system capable of performing functions such as eating, metabolizing, excreting, breathing, moving, growing, reproducing, and responding to external stimuli. Plants, animals, and humans are all life forms. Life is so special that is significantly different from non-living things. You can't explain life purely in matter and energy, but you need to add the information aspect. We still can't create life from scratch. The most famous theory about life is Charles Darwin's theory of evolution based on natural selection. The main points include: individuals of the same species have different traits. Organisms compete with one another for survival. Individuals with traits that help them survive reproduce more successfully. These successful individuals pass their helpful traits down to their offspring. When a species isn't fit for its environment, the species might become extinct. In time, individuals with the helpful variation may become a separate species. Sometimes, evolution could happen gradually, taking millions of years, while it can also happen in spurts. That's why we have such diversity of life on Earth. The three limitations of Darwin's theory concern the origin of DNA, the irreducible complexity of the cell, and the lack of transitional species. What is DNA? DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is the molecule that carries genetic information for the development and functioning of an organism. DNA is made of two linked strands that wind around each other to resemble a twisted ladder, a shape known as a double helix. DNA is tightly coiled around protein molecules to form chromosomes. DNA stores information about life. For example, hair and eye color get passed down from parents to offspring through DNA. DNA is like a zipper. During cell replication, the DNA is unzipped. Each side is later paired up with a new complementary zipper half. The result is two new identical zippers. There are 4 types of nitrogen bases for DNA: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, represented by the letters A, T, C, and G. The order of these letters is the language that tells a cell how to build an organism. The adenine on one strand always pairs with the thymine on another, and the cytosine always pairs with the guanine. Sometimes, mistakes can happen when DNA is replicated. These mistakes can be caused by ultraviolet light, chemicals, and X-rays. They are called mutations. DNA and mutations are important evidences to Darwin's theory of evolution. Genes are segments of DNA strands that code for a specific trait. The Human Genome Project aims to map the location of genetic diseases in order to help prevent and better understand them. While DNA stores the information about life, cell is the building block of life. An organism can be made of one cell alone. For all the functions, a tiny little cell must be able to perform, like consuming, storing and using energy, protecting itself and reproducing. Organelles are the parts of a cell. They process and release energy, destroy and digest materials, replicate genetic information. Here is an example of what a typical animal cell looks like. Plant cells are not much difference. Every cell has a cell membrane, which is a layer on the outside of the cell that holds the cell together and protect the cell. Plant cells also have a cell wall outside of the cell membrane. A jelly-like substance called cytoplasm is inside the cell membrane. It's spread all over the cell, containing all the cell organelles in it. It is responsible for the expansion, growth, and replication of the cell. It is a medium in which chemical reactions take place in the animal cell. Ribosomes are the protein-making factories in a cell. Ribosomes receive directions from hereditary material to make certain proteins. Nucleus is the control center of the cell. It houses the cell's chromosomes, which are strands made of DNA. Nucleus includes nuclear membrane, which is a protective double membrane surrounding the nucleus, and the nucleolus, which is a small structure that makes ribosomes and transports them to the cytoplasm. Mitochondria are the cell's powerhouse, which release energy and food by carrying out a reaction with oxygen. Lysosome is cell's garbage and recycling facility. Endoplasmic reticulum, or ER, is the transport facility for the cell. It processes and moves materials. Golgi bodies sort proteins from endoplasmic reticulum, then package and distribute them to where they need to go. For plant cell, they also have vacuoles, which are storage for water, food, and waste. There is also chloroplasts in the plant cell, which uses energy from the sun to change water and carbon dioxide into glucose through photosynthesis. Multicellular plants and animals have different cells to carry out different functions. A bunch of different cells doing a similar job are called a tissue. Tissues work together to form organs, like heart, stomach, or liver. Organs working together form organ systems, such as the digestive or respiratory system. Human body has the most complicated organ systems. Here is an overview of all the important systems. If you understand the structure of a cell, the function of those organ systems are quite similar to a cell. A cell has membrane and cell wall to protect the cell. We have skin, skeleton, and muscles to protect our body. A cell uses mitochondria to release energy and food, and uses lysosome for garbage and recycling. We use esophagus, stomach, and intestines to absorb the nutrients from food and water. Kidney can filter our blood and get rid of waste and excess water. A cell has endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi bodies to process, move, and distribute materials. We have lungs to process oxygen, and have heart to pump blood with oxygen to different parts of the body. A cell uses nucleus and ribosomes to store DNA information, make proteins, and copy the cell. We have different reproductive systems from male and female, each with specific adaptations to facilitate the combining of genetic material. Unlike a cell, we also have nervous and endocrine systems to process information, and use immune and lymphatic systems to fight against infection and diseases. Now you understand that life is a miracle in the world, and human is a miracle in all life forms. If you can understand these three important concepts, matter, energy, and information, and know how to use math, you can learn any natural science subject with ease.